Hey guys, Professor Whitman here to talk about week 5. Move my mic so I don't get those pops. Um, Week 5 may seem short, may seem light on work. If you do get a research question really early on that you really like and it comes easily to you, it definitely will seem easy. But don't get lulled into a false sense of security if that's the case, because the workload will be back up to normal next week. So you're going to be using your research notebook to refine your topic that you picked last week into a more specific, narrow, focused question. And if you're a healthcare student or looking to go into healthcare, you will be using something called PICO to help you write a clinical question that you can then research to come to a decision about how to treat a patient. So a clinical question is a question where you would be making a decision about how to treat an actual patient. So many of you identified populations that you're interested in helping, certain medical conditions that you're interested in treating. Some other people have been interested in certain interventions like herbal medicine versus traditional pharmaceuticals, that kind of thing. You'll be using the skills you learned this week to develop a searchable PICO research question. And that's so important. It's going to be so important for the rest of the semester. So you really want to invest in taking the time to do this right. One thing that's written in your research notebook that I really wish I had deleted this time around is that it says something like, don't pick a question that can be answered by yes or no. That's going to confuse some people because I'm going to show you PICO questions and they're going to sound like they can be answered with a yes or no, but in fact, they need to be answered with medical evidence, right? So they need to be answered by saying, well, I found these articles that support this treatment. I found these articles that might not support the treatment, and give a more in-depth answer about what's in the literature. But they sound like they have a yes or no answer. So I wanted to tell you that up front. Just disregard to that bullet point. If the question sounds like it has a yes or no answer, that might still be okay. You're just going to answer it with more detail. Now, I hope that hasn't confused everybody, but here's what I mean. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you some examples of PICO questions that were used in this course previously or by another student that I helped with the search. So let me share this window. So here are some PICO questions. By the end of this week, your question should be sounding sort of kind of like this. In patients with acute bronchitis, do antibiotics reduce sputum production, cough, or days off? Among family members of patients undergoing diagnostic procedures, does standard care, listening to tranquil music, or audio taped comedy routines make a difference in the reduction of reported anxiety? That one's kind of a fun one. In patients with out-of-hospital cardiac arrest, does tracheal intubation increase the chances of survival? In pregnant patients at risk for developing preeclampsia, does a low-dose aspirin regime reduce the risk of developing preeclampsia? In smokers, is counseling alone just as effective in getting the smoker to quit versus counseling plus a cessation drug such as Wellbutrin? In parents with children who suffer from asthma, does a nurse providing education about the effects of cigarette smoke on asthma increase the likelihood that the parent will quit smoking? These questions focus on a specific type of patient with a medical issue. They include a specific intervention you're considering, and they include an outcome that you want to see happen. Some of them also include a comparison. So you're comparing two different types of treatment. That's the essence of PICO, and that's what you're going to be learning about this week. If you are in this class, but you are not a healthcare student, you still have a way to work on your research question this week. It's called the 5 W's, and it's in your research notebook, so you can do that as an alternative to PICO. It's not too hard to understand, but if you have any questions about it, please do let me know. And I would love for you to message me when you think you have a workable research question so that I can take a look at it and give you feedback as to whether I think it's going to be workable for this class. Okay, good luck this week. Let me know if you have any questions.